Good morning, everybody. This is Study Guide with Joe. Today, we're doing the second series of family business. I call this one how to deal with selfish teenagers. And the four things I'm gonna give you when you dealing with teenagers. The first thing they want to give you is give me. Second one is use me. The third one is search me, and the fourth one is make me. So this is the stuff that Jesus is talking about in the book of Luke chapter 15 verse 12 through 31. But first is give me in verse 12 through 14 about things that teenage kids wants. So let's jump into the word, and it goes like this. Luke chapter 15 verse 12. And it says, "Then a young one said to his father, 'Give me my share of the property between his two sons.' After a few days, the young son sold his part of the property and left home with the money. He went to a country far away. Here he wasted his money in reckless living. He spent everything he had. Then a centenary, and he was left without nothing, without a thing." So you see, if you underline, if you go back into verse 12, underline give me. See, when you give somebody a chance for things in life, they want to say, give me, give me, give me. And it's so hard to see those things because you can't always give what you want. And this is a part of where Paul says in the book of Ephesians chapter 6. And he says in verse 2, the teenagers had to honor father and mother. Meaning, we could do everything the best of our abilities to teach our young kids how to respect one another, how to enjoy this stuff. When they get to the real world, like Moses says in Exodus chapter 30 verse 14, when they get to the real world, guess what? They're going to have to learn how to pay their own way. So give me is nothing to compare being selfish. Look at Matthew chapter 26. Matthew chapter 26 and 14 and 15. 26, chapter 14 and 15. And this is what he says in verse 14. He says, "The one of the 12 disciples, the one named Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and asked, 'What will you give me if I betray Jesus to you, and the country out their silver and coins, and give them to him?'" See, twice. Judas was the same way. Give me, give me. Sometimes we can't give kids what they want because they really don't deserve anything. Sometimes we have to understand, things we can do for you doesn't mean we can't do anything for you. You stop being selfish about give me, give me, give me, and start saying, what can I do for you? Like the other day, I told my kids, you guys want to give me, give me, give me, but when I said clean up your room, you look like, and I told them, they look at me like I'm losing my mind. When we deal with young kids and teenagers, this is the stuff that we have to train and teach. You can't ask for something, and you can't say give me all the time, because you're not going to get it until you start learning how to do the mature thing and start cleaning up after yourself, or start learning how to be obedient. When the parent says no, it's no, and work for it. Show them that you really want it that bad. It could be a toy, a new game, a new sneakers, new clothes. But show your parents you really to work for it. And this is the whole concept, is to work for it. Now in Luke chapter 15, verse 15 through 18. So he went to work for one of the citizens of that country, who sent him out to his farm to take care of the pigs. He watched he could fill ate, but no one gave him anything to eat. Unless he came to his senses and said, all my father's hired works have more than they can eat, and here I am about to starve. I will get up and go to my father and said, Father, I have sinned against you, God, and against God and against you. Now, this one says, search me. And this is the big thing about everything. We have to search for ourselves to come to our senses, because we want our kids to understand. When you ask for stuff, the first word is give me. That being selfish. We don't have to give you anything, because you're not being responsible for your own things. Look at Philippians chapter 2 and verse 3. And Paul made it perfectly clear about, you have to search yourself, search everything. Philippians chapter 2 and verse 3. Do not do anything from selfishness, abundance, or from a cheap desire to boast about being humble towards one another, always considering others better than yourselves. See, and I love how Paul said it. He said you have to think about other people instead of being selfish by yourself. This is the part that the teenagers have to understand. Stop being selfish about you. Stop thinking about yourself. Stop thinking about somebody else. Think about your parents. And fathers and mothers, as a father, and as like my wife just went to work, I'm home most of the time in teaching and preaching. This is my stuff. This is my job to do, to teach the gospel. But this is a good learning tool to understand we can't do things without them showing this young teen boys and girls. You can't be selfish on about thinking about me, and then thinking about give me, because that's not going to work. The only way it's going to work if you start understanding each other, understanding the love, the compassion that the parents give to the child. The child would say, well, my parents never gave me anything, because they work so hard to provide and put food on the table, put a roof over your head. That way you can understand the whole situation. Now, sometimes we have to tell them, stop being selfish and start thinking about others, because that's what God wants us to do. Don't be like Jacob and Esau, but be more like Joseph, because Joseph was telling dreams back in Genesis and telling everybody, and his brothers were so jealous of him, they were being selfish for themselves. They put him in a hole and sold him to slavery to Egypt. This is the stuff that you can't do all the time. You have to stop being selfish and stop being considerate about everybody else. Now, verse 18 through 24. It goes like this. Now, I gave you give me, search me. No, give me, use me. Now I'm going to show you search me. I will get up and go to my father. Oh no, actually 19. I am no longer fit to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired workers. So he get up and start back to his father's. He was still a long way from home when his father was him. His heart was filled with pity, and he ran through his arm around his son and kissed him. Father, the son, said, I have sinned against God and against you. I am no longer fit to be called your son. But the father calls to his servant, Harry. He said, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and shoes on his feet. Then go and get the prize calf and kill it, and let us celebrate with a feast. For this son of mine was dead, but now he is alive. He was lost, but now he has been found. And so the feasting began. Now, your son did something bad and you're going to celebrate. Sometimes you can't do that because now you got to give me, use me, and now make me. The last thing is search me. And, the father making his helper to give his youngest son everything he wanted. This is the thing that the older brother, the older siblings, get upset. When one did something bad, why are you still continue giving him what he wants? You giving him everything. You letting him be selfish. He's never going to learn his lesson. Because this is the part of the learning how to be a parent part. This is how to be a parent part. We can't give our kids everything they want when they do something bad. You remember when I read in verse 12, he wanted his inheritance. You can't get your inheritance and demand it and say, give me what I want. You can't do that because you're not going to get it right away. I'd rather work for my stuff, show my kids. If you work hard, you can earn stuff. If you don't show them that, guess what? They're going to still continue doing what they want to do. Looking at in the book of Acts, chapter 8 and verse 19. The book of Acts. Chapter 8 and verse 19. And Paul writes again about make me. I mean, you can't make kids do what they don't want to do. But when they want something, then you be like, oh, I tell you to do this, and you can't do this. And look at what Paul said in chapter 8 and verse 19. He says, and said, give this power to me so that anyone I place my hands on will receive the Holy Spirit. And this is the part that Paul is talking about. He said, if this kid is so young and do everything the right way, God will bless them and give them what they need. And he will put his hand on them. But sometimes you can't make kids to do what they want. And sometimes we have to do it no matter what. Now, I'm going to finish it up. Luke chapter 25 through 31. And it says, search me. It says, in the meantime, the oldest son was out in the field on his way back. When he came close to the house, he heard the music and dancing. So he called one of his servants and asked him, what's going on? Your brother has came back home. The servant answered, and your father has killed the prize calf because he got him back safely and sound. The older brother was so angry that he could not go into the house. So his father came out and begged him to come in. But he spoke back to his father, look, all those years I have worked for you like a slave, and I have never disobeyed your orders. What have you given me? Not even a goat for me to have a feast with my friends. But this son of ours wasted all your property and possession, and when he came back, you killed that prize calf for him. My son, the father answered, you are always here with me, and everything I have is yours. So the older brother, the oldest brother, is angry and jealous. Okay, now he's angry because now his younger brother comes back. The father throws him a feast, throws him a party for coming back home, nice and safe, nice and sound. And I do agree with the older brother. He said, Dad, I worked for you for all these years, and you have never given me anything. I worked so hard to give. This is the part of discipline. This is the part of discipline. When you're a young child, we train a young child. And then when they become teenagers, we have to teach them. Because then when they become young adults, you can trust them. See, this is the older brother I want to trust. because he did everything in the T's: train, teach, and trust. And this is the stuff that everybody don't realize. So he's angry. So now, in his mind, he wants God to search him. In Book of Psalms, chapter 139, and verse 23 and 24, this is what, remember with David. David was bad also. And it says in verse 23 and 24, he said, examine me, O God, and know my mind. Test me and discover my thoughts. Find out if there is any evil in me, and guide me in the everlasting way. See, so it's like David. You could give, but you're really not gonna give because you know what? You have done anything wrong because why? Because you're not doing what you need to be doing. You're not doing the stuff that needs to be dealt with. Sometimes we have to do things that we're not proud of, and and so this is the thing about understanding kids. We have to understand our children. We have to do things that no parent wants to do, but we can't favor one and don't favor the other one because that'd be uncalled for. So sometimes we have to stop. We have to stop saying give me. Second one is stop using your parents. The third one, don't say don't make me because that it's not fair that you making me. And the third one, you have to ask God, search me, God. Search me with your love, with your might. Show me what my parent wants me to do. Because that's the only way they're going to learn. Okay, this is Study Guide with Joe. See you next week to show you from a broken team to a happy team next week. Godspeed.